Hey, baby, welcome to Bonnie's Eye on Jam 98, Music for Your Soul. I'm Bonnie DeShong, and these are my friends. We have Art, Chat Daddy, the real Chat Daddy Sims.
Huh?
How are you, Art?
I'm wonderful, Bonnie. Happy Saturday. Happy Labor Day weekend 2022. And I'm here to get this Saturday morning party started. What about you?
I am so ready. I am so ready because I'm with my two boos. So, and my second boo is my producer, Drew Sean Williams. Hi, Drew.
Hey, Mama Bonnie. So, how was your 49th anniversary of your 21st birthday this past week? I have to say that from now on, okay? Because if you suck at math, you got to know how you got to add it up. I mean,
Right. We definitely adding it up. It was amazing. I
yeah.
had a really nice
Oh,
birthday
no.
week entirely. Got my
I had put
nails
10.
done.
No, I had put 10 years. I was trying to do 70 and I put one too many fingers up. So I had to, right. So you're
Yes, you did.
70. Yes, I'm
Yes, you did.
sorry.
Don't feel no,
70.
no, no. Next year add the one, but right now it's the good 7-0.
Yes.
Very
So,
good.
Chat Daddy, so when's the next anniversary of your 21st birthday coming up?
Oh, not until November.
Oh, you in November, baby?
November. I'm a
Baby,
Scorpio.
I'm
Yes.
a November
Scorpio to
baby.
his heart.
Yes.
Are you a Scorpio too?
No, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm passing the baton between Scorpio and Sag. So I'm in
Yeah.
that realm. So I'm a
Woo,
cusp.
thank goodness. I'm glad we all three different because oh Lord. that would have been just a bit much, a bit much. Well, guys, just a little bit. We've got a great show today. We've got Marshall Thompson coming on with us today. The well, one of the shy lights who is the last man standing, as he says.
Wow.
And we have our own Chris First Lady Henderson that's coming on with us today. So we've got a great one. But before we get into the show, I was reading up on some stuff. You know, Meghan Markle has her own Spotify podcast called Archetypes. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Uh-huh.
Archetype. Archetypes.
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 Thank you
Yes.
very much. Thank you.
You're
See, I
welcome.
knew Chat Daddy would know all of this. He knows
Yeah.
everything. All
Mhm.
right. So she had on her show Mariah Carey. And the topic of the conversation was the duality of diva. And they spoke about all the negative connotations that they get from being biracial. And one thing that Megan was saying, she was saying she was so happy to have Mariah Carey on because she looked up to her because for her Mariah Carey looked like her, you know, in her thing. And she said that Halle Berry also was someone that she looked up to that looked like her. But she said um, I'm quoting here. I mean, if there's any time in my life that's been more focused on my race, it's only once I started dating my husband. Then I started to understand what it was like to be treated like a black woman, referencing her relationship with Prince Harry, because up until then, I had been treated like a mixed woman and things really shifted. So I can understand. I mean, all of us have mixed race relatives and things like that. But I think in most people's thinking, older people's thinking, is the whole thing of if you have, what was it, 1/4 or 1/8 of
Mm-hmm.
a drop of black blood in you, then you are black. So, what do you guys talk amongst yourselves on this subject here? What do you think about it, chat?
I have to
Oh,
say this.
Okay,
Oh,
go ahead,
go
Drew.
ahead.
No, go on. You started. Go on.
Okay,
You jump
I'll
in
start
there.
it and I'm gonna finish it. When I first saw Mariah Carey on the scene, I just said this is a amazing white woman with a strong voice. But when I start paying attention to her nationality and her background, and I made the discovery that she was black and Venezuelan or have traces of Venezuelan blood within her, it made me look at what true black, or what black really is. Because I always thought that black meant, if there's a better choice of words, nappy hair, power to the people, all about listening to soul food, all about eating soul music, all about eating soul food and whatnot. And then I realized that black goes way deeper than the music that you listen to and the food that you eat. There's a, I think your show would be 2 hours if we had to discuss the dichotomy of the type of black that actually exists in the world. It would.
Look at us.
Yeah.
You know, the variety of shades of beauty that is on, you know, that is on this show. Chat, jump on in, boo.
Well, I don't know. Drushan's thoughts and theories are interesting. They're true. They just, I think, just are the ground level of how deep all of this is. Racism among our own people, how we think about how people look. Colorism plays a huge part in this. I, Mariah Carey has always been a great singer. I've never looked at her as anything other than Mariah Carey. So I didn't even know her background, was that of what it was. I just knew she was able to sing like a sister girl, and that's the way I've always looked at it.
Well, y'all good. Because no, I'm serious. Y'all good. I looked at her, and excuse me, y'all gonna get pissed off, as a high yellow young lady who could sing her ass off. That's the way I looked at Mariah Carey. And it's like, with being mixed race has happened forever, where black people were passing and not passing, and the house versus the field and everything. So, it was no big deal for me to think that, I mean, with the mixed race thing, it's like, okay, yeah, but where you accepted, okay? Black people have accepted mixed race from day one. It's hey, come on, you can live in the hood, you can live in this, you can do this. Yeah, we got you family. That's not the same way on the other side.
Right.
Especially back in the generation that I'm from. But now there is so much in mixed race that now it's not like a big standout anymore. From what I'm seeing and whatever, it's no big deal. But it just baffled me that they were not looked at as a black person, but as a mixed race person. So in my generation, that's kind of something different from me, because you black, whether you mixed in there or not, because all of us is mixed in there some kind of way. But I understand, and I do have understanding for children that are coming up, or young people, or even adults who are of mixed race. It is time for them to, what do you say, when you write down, when you check African American, white, both? Do you check both? Because I haven't seen mixed race on a form yet. Have you guys?
Never.
No, I have not either. No, I have not. No.
But I just found that a little interesting. I thought that was interesting. Not negative, but interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, because you have to really pay attention to what black, and I say that in quotation marks, truly really is. Is it, like you said, Bonnie, an eighth of African blood, or a quarter of African blood, 2/3 of African blood in your bloodstream? Because you have people that have 98.2% Irish, Scottish, Romanian, Russian, and they have that 0.2% of black that will make them entire, black for the rest of their lives. So it opens up a new lane of conversation when it comes to race within our race. The coloring, of what it is.
Oh, baby, because back in the day, the brown paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a fine tooth comb and it doesn't go straight through your hair,
Mm-hmm.
You know, these were things that we did upon ourselves
Right.
as Black people.
Right.
Okay. But I just thought that the topic was pretty interesting and relevant because of the way, you know, our population is going now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Drew, you were telling us that something special is coming up next weekend.
Next weekend, and this was just off of a whim. God bless my social media. And I have to say this, one of my followers posted a reel of a flyer, and it says, and I quote, Congressman Danny Davis and the Pritzker Pavilion in downtown Chicago at Millennium Park is presenting the 50th anniversary of the Superfly soundtrack and an ode to saying goodbye to summer in Chicago. So imagine the Pritzker Pavilion Orchestra playing Little Child Running Wild, Freddie's Dead, Eddie You Should Know Better, and Superfly on the Pritzker Pavilion stage next Saturday in Millennium Park.
No, what I want to see is all of the folks coming in their Superfly outfits.
Oh Lord, no,
Chat Daddy got a couple of them.
Chad Daddy
Oh, I
got
do.
that
I
jacket
do.
that he
I
had.
do. I do. I have all of that. This is such a wonderful thing to celebrate such an icon and legend. A lot of people don't realize that Curtis Mayfield is actually from Chicago, the south side of Chicago. His family lived here while he was making a name for himself. And we are really just proud. Can you believe that Superfly is 50 years old? I just cannot. Wow.
I
Interesting.
can't because I remember going on into the theaters and stuff. Well, guys, we're going to get started because we're going to be bringing Marshall Thompson in here pretty soon. But before we do, Drew Sean, kick us off. What's your choice for today?
We was talking about Superfly. I have to play Superfly by Curtis Mayfield. I have to. If not me, who?
That's what I'm saying. You know, this is what you get on Bonnie's Eye on Jam 98 Music for Your Soul. Y'all, I can't wait to let you know who we got on the line with us right now. We've got Marshall Thompson of the Shy Lights, the Shy Light, the last man standing, old girl, and old everything. Hey, baby. Hey, Marshall.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I forgot to mention Marshall is my birthday brother.
Yeah.
Yes, our birthdays are August 24th, different years. I think we're 10 years apart, aren't we, Marshall?
Right. First thing I thought of at midnight at 12 o'clock in Las Vegas. I woke up at 12 o'clock midnight going into our birthday. First thing I thought about was you.
Oh, I wish I was in Vegas. That's
I
one of
wish
my
I was in
favorite
Vegas.
cities in the world.
Right,
Yes.
right on. We have
Right.
a lot of there now.
Now, Marshall, before we get into what's going on Sunday, you know, in Crestwood, not Crestwood, in Country Club Hills, I want to go back. I want to go way back to 1960 something when you were in high school and you guys were starting off. I think you were with the Del Dorados. Is that how you say it?
The Desideros.
Okay, yeah. How did you come up with that name?
Well, that was in Shakespeare Grammar School. We just came up with that name right in the playground. We say, let's be the Desideros. And Eddie Sullivan, which was one of my singers, but at that time, Classic Sullivans, he thought of that name.
Wow. Well, how did you get with Eugene Record and all of them, and you guys formed the Shy Lights or the Highlights at the time?
Well, what happened is when I graduated from Shakespeare Grammar School on 47 in Ellis, I went to a Hyde Park High School. In Hyde Park High School, Squirrel and Red, my bass singer, they was going to Hyde Park High School, and Eugene Record was going to Inglewood High School. So what happened is Squirrel had told me one day, he said, hey, we're going to sing in Hyde Park. So Eugene and Squirrel and two more guys came over to Hyde Park High School and sung on the talent show over there. and they did a great job. And me and Red, the bass singer, he was in the Desideros with me as well. So we can dance, but we couldn't sing as well as Gene and Squirrel. But we can dance, and Squirrel and Gene couldn't dance. So, so, so when we got out of high school, I got a break went as a drummer because when I went to DuSable High School, DuSable, I learned from Captain Walter Dodd. He learned me how to play the drums. Okay. And when I got out of DuSable High School, I went down to the Regal Theater. I was still living on 47 in St. Lawrence at that time. So I went up to the sound check at the Regal Theater, snuck in there. They used to throw me out every week. Get out of here, boy. But I snuck in there and went down to Jewtown and bought me one of those cross ties, little black ties with a white shirt on and some pedal leather shoes and Smokey Robinson say, "Wait, hey, where you coming in with that snare drum?" I said, "Well, hey, I'm coming here to try to get me a job." So Gladys Knight was on stage and she was trying to find a drummer to play her stuff. But I had been practicing Gladys Knight stuff for a whole week on 47th Street. So I raised my hand. I said, "Gladys, can I get up there and play the drums for you?" She said, "Come on up here. Somebody got to play the drums up here. We got an hour before showtime." So I went up there and played her show, man. She said, "Boy, you're doing a great job there, boy." I was playing, and then all of a sudden the curtains opened up.
Oh, did we lose Marshall?
Trying to do something, I froze. I said, "Wow." And then, so Bubbles on the Gladys Knight tips, he said, "Marshall, play the drums like you did at rehearsal. Just play the drums like you did at rehearsal. Don't be scared." First job. I was scared to death. So I ended up loosening up after the second song with Gladys. So I played with Gladys Knight the whole week. And after I got off the drums with Gladys Knight, I was going downtown. I was downtown on 12th Street and Major Land down there. He said, "Hey, man, I heard you play drums for Gladys Knight and Pip. My drummer got drafted. You want to go out with me?" So I ended up going out with him for a year, playing drums all over the country with Monkey Time. And then I got that. And then all of a sudden, Major Lance told me, "Hey, why don't you come down and see Carl Davis down here at Brunswick Records on 12th Street?" So I went up there and asked him, could I bring the guys down? Eugene, Squirrel. Gene was working at the cab, driving a yellow cab. Squirrel was a welder, and Red was at the post office. So I got all those guys together. I said, "Hey, fellas, let's go down there and audition with Carl Davis and see if we can get us a job at Brunswick Records." And who was down there? Jack Wilson. I said, "Man, I was supposed to play drums on one of your songs," which I did. And he said, "But I'm down here right now with my guys. We didn't mark in the highlight. And we got in here, we're going to try to get a gig." So we went down there and got a gig. And Carl Davis said, "Oh, you guys sounding good." So Jackie Wilson said, "Sign them boys." So he ended up signing with Carl Davis at Brunswick Records. And next thing you know, we end up with Brunswick Records and the super management that had Gladys, not Gladys, but they had Rita Franklin, Sammy Davis Jr., Flip Wilson, Dick Clark. He managed all. So we ended up being on all his shows. On Dick Clark's show, we did that first. Second, we did Dick Clark. Flip Wilson's show we did first. Then we did Sammy Davis Jr. and Company third. And that took us off.
You know, that's something to know, that young men from the south side of Chicago, um, from high school on, been singing and everything, had real jobs before they became the Shy Lights and everybody and all. Because I'm going to tell you, Marshall, when I was at Illinois State University, the Shy Lights came to ISU.
Yep, I remember.
Yep, I got the pictures to show it too. And we was screaming our heads off, running all up to the front. Y'all had afros that just went all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all was just something else. We were fainting and screaming, and women were throwing stuff up on the stage at you and everything like that.
That was a dream for us. You know, it's a dream, especially for Squirrel, because I used to be on the north side with Curtis Mayfield and Jerry Butler over in the Greens. We used to go over there and rehearse all the time. And we always want to be like Jerry Butler and the Curtis Mayfield impression. Oh, man, we wanted to do all that. And we finally got our chance.
Wow. That is, you know, guys, Chat Daddy and Drew, the history of these wonderful Chicago talented guys. I mean, we've got guys now that are singing on the street corners and stuff that they don't even know, or they don't realize that they could be. How many years later, Marshall?
63 years.
Wow. And here you are with your own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That dream comes true.
Chad Daddy, what were you going to say?
Well, it's good to see my friend, Mr. Marshall Thompson, again. I talked to him earlier this week on my show, and Marshall Thompson has been just one of the most stellar men ever. The consummate superstar whenever you see him. I got to interview him on WVON for his 78th birthday, and now to interview him for his 80th. I feel like, look, this needs to be a job every year. And every year, we need to be interviewing Marshall Thompson just because he is such an icon and such a legend.
Thank you so much.
Well, Marshall, I heard that you're getting ready to get an honorary doctorate degree or some kind of big honor. What's that about?
Getting two of them the same day. I'm getting the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of the United States, and also I'm getting the honorary doctor's award from the university out there in Houston, Texas.
You know what? You just gone on, Marshall. You just gone on. Tell me this though. How do you stay relevant? I mean, yeah, you've had some great songs, and all of us grew up loving the Shy Lights. But here we are in 2022, and you got a big concert coming up on Sunday to celebrate your Walk of Fame, your star on the Walk of Fame, and all your other accomplishments. And folks are just running to get tickets. How are you staying relevant in this day and time?
Well, I don't forget where I come from, number one. When I got that star in Hollywood, although they moved me to Las Vegas, I couldn't wait to get back home to show the people in Chicago where I grew up with. At DeShong High School in Hyde Park. I wanted that star, so I brought it back with me. A copy.
Oh my goodness. See, that's what it is. Marshall and the Shy Lights have never forgotten. They just have never forgotten. Now, we're going to talk about this concert this Sunday. So what can we expect on Sunday?
Well, we have a production. And our production, as we start our production, going to take people way back. We start off from the beginning of our career for the first song, and we be on stage for 75 minutes singing all Shy Lights hits, all 37 Billboard chart records.
Wow. Are you going to have on those outfits? Because, y'all, if you haven't seen the Shy Lights perform, Marshall and them be coming out there. They have on the colors. They got the hats. They have their own little stroll as they go out there. You guys gonna be sharp, Marshall.
So we had to wear those suits. So our suits comes up with Al Capone in them. Standing on the running board of the cars. That's the kind of suits we wear. And whenever we come on stage, like last week, we was in Oakland, California, at what was it, Kimball's? Yoshi's. We walked. Soon as we walked out the door, they said, "That's Chicago." You hear everybody saying, "That's Chicago," and they're known for that. We don't change. We don't wear the shiny coats or nothing like that. We wear the gangster outfits that we're known for. That with the hats on, with the coats with the chains on. That's our style.
I love it. I love it. Now, Marshall, a little birdie told me that starting around October, there may be a residency in Vegas.
Yes, we opened up at the Rio Hotel right there in the Dumo Room. It's October the 16th. That's our first show. It's already on sale at Ticketmaster.
Already. I might have to come to Vegas and check you out.
Excuse me. Hey, we'd love to see you. You know that.
What DeShong?
Uncle Marshall, it's always an honor to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence. If you could share a piece of advice to someone that's coming up in the R&B world, when it comes to today's R&B, especially if they're coming from Chicago, because Chicago has always had a plethora of talent. Some of it does not get the recognition that they deserve, and some of it goes unnoticed. What piece of advice would you give to any up and coming R&B artist
Well,
out here?
first of all, I learned one thing about the music business. And when I first started, I didn't believe girl. I thought the old girl was too popish for us. I said, well, that's a pop record. I want R&B. I want R&B. But I found out I was wrong. The biggest record we ever had was Old Girl. And that's because it crossed over. When you cut a record, you got to cut a record that goes on both sides. Forget about this R&B music. You got to have crossover. That's what got us that star in Hollywood. Old Girl got that star for us. Okay. You got to have something that everybody knows. When you get on the Hollywood Walk of Fame down there, we got people right now in California stopping at our star right there, looking on that ground, taking pictures. Because Old Girl, those records, and Have You Seen is known all over the world. And that's why they want to put your star down there. They don't want to put your star down there because you recorded something that's only one side. You got to have records for all sides. Like Curtis. Curtis had records for all, everybody.
And that's true. That is so true. You got to be versatile, still true to who you are, but still be versatile to have lasted all of these years with all of us still running up and buying tickets. And we want everybody to know that Sunday, the 4th, the Shy Lights, Marshall Thompson and the Shy Lights are going to be at Country Club Hills, and it's hosted by Jeff Fox. You can go to eventsmarter.com/the Shy Lights to get your tickets. Do not sleep on this. I'm going to be there, Marshall. I'm gonna come out there. So if you see me throwing something up on the stage and screaming and falling out, oh, sorry, I got carried away. I thought I was back at ISU somewhere.
Right on. It's a show that you don't want to miss. I tell you that. And it's the first time I know a lot of people see a star, a Hollywood Walk of Fame star. You only been seeing it on television or the news or something because of Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, all of them got stars out there with us. Our stars right across the street from Live Nation. It's right across the street. When you go across the street, you'll see the Shy Lights, you see Jackie Wilson, you'll see Sam Cooke, and you see Herbie Hancock. You got 4 of our stars right there together.
Got the Chicago connection all the way around.
Right on.
Well, Marshall, we will see you Sunday, September 4th at Country Club Hills. I can't wait. You're going to sing all of my songs. Thank you for being on with us today.
We're going to go down the line with it from the beginning to the end.
And we're going to sing loud with you.
Right on.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you so much.
Well, guys, it's time for Bonnie's Choice now.
What is your choice for today?
You know what? Since we just talked to Marshall, my choice is going to be my favorite song by the Shy Lights. I Want to Pay You Back. Okay, for what God, from Give Me, from Power to the People album. Is that right, Marshall? That's the album it was on?
That's what it is.
All right, then. That's going to be my choice for today. I'm Bonnie DeShong, and this is Bonnie's Eye and Friends on Jam 98, Music for Your Soul. Thank you, Marshall.
So much.
We'll talk later.
All good.
Okay, we got Chrissy coming in. So we ready? Okay. Everybody. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it alone. You know, it's a joy when I can have someone who was my student at Columbia.
Yep.
And then has turned around all these years later, and she is now my boss. I want to introduce to you one of the first ladies of house, Miss Chris First Lady Henderson. How are you?
I am just fine. You got to add on there Hutchinson.
Hutchison. Sorry, Hutchison.
Yep.
Hutchison. Hutchison. Yes.
Hey, is that my other baby daddy up there? Yes.
It
Hey, y'all.
is. Hello, darling. Bonnie had all those accolades and kudos. Well, you guys need to understand. I am First Lady's first baby daddy, and this is a baby
Mhm.
nobody has ever seen. This is a baby nobody knows about, but we have a love child between us. And
Mhm.
that love child now should almost be on Social Security, right? No, no, I'm right.
What in the Maury Povich heezy is this?
Drew, you already know.
Right, right. It's good to see you, and happy birthday, my love. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Good to be seen.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And wait a minute, I got this thing going here at the bottom, and I got Henderson. Let me put some Hutchison in there so that we
Yes.
have all of the right names. So
So that my brother-in-law is acknowledged. Well, no, let me see. He would be the other husband-in-law. Yeah, he would be right.
Yeah,
So yeah,
there
so
you go.
he's a yeah, so
Husband
he's
number, basically, Chat, you be husband number 2, he be husband number 1, because she did say Hutchison.
yeah.
Well,
But that's
because we
okay.
keep the Sims on the low low.
Yeah. Back then, I was just a government name. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
True,
right.
true,
So
true.
back then I was like Leroy Earl. Somebody like that. Yeah.
Philip.
Yep. That's
well,
it.
First Lady, we have to go back, way back, because I want everybody. I am so proud of you. We all are.
Thank
And
you.
we have all worked with you and we have seen you grow. So we're going to go back. We're going to go way, way back for a minute. Okay.
Okay. Uh-oh.
What? I mean, you are one of the first ladies of house music. You were one of the first women to ever play house on the radio. How did
Hmm.
you get into house?
You know what? When I was 13, I was dating a guy who DJ'd, and he taught me how to DJ. And this was before house music. This was in 1980. And then I started DJing. He came home one day. I was already at his house, already in his room, already playing his music. So he knew then that I was serious about it. Then time progressed, house music started, and it just became a natural progression. How I ended up on the air, though, was one day I challenged Farley. I said, "How come you don't have any women on the mix team? How come there are no women on the radio mixing? What's wrong with you?" And he said, "Make me a tape." And I said, "Okay." And so the about 2 days later, he had the tape, and Lee Michaels, he convinced Lee Michaels to give me a shot. He said it was something that the other station at the time was BMX. They weren't doing. But what happened was somebody over there got wind of it. So they decided they were going to put this other young lady on, and uh, not to be outdone. Lee Michaels can never be outdone. He put
Correct.
me on Thursday because their mix show was on Friday, but they had a slot every day for a mix in the evening. And instead of putting one of the guys on, he put my mix on, so it made me first, and then she was second.
That now see that's why you first lady. Because you are the first lady. Is that how you got your name?
You know what? Actually, the name came from my first radio name was Party Girl. My DJ name was Chrissy Hot Mix Henderson. Okay, it was kind of long, and on posters it just said Chrissy Hot Mix because you couldn't get the rest of it on there. Um, then when I got started doing radio, thank you very much, Bonnie, for suggesting that I do that. Um, my first name on KKC was Party Girl, and as I began to study at the Nation of Islam, I realized that I was so much more than that. And as a Black woman that was going to have a platform to speak to other Black women, I needed to step my game up and somehow incorporate that into my name. And I happened to hear Queen Latifah and Moni Love, their song "Ladies First," and I was like, "Oh, I like that." So I flipped it and made it First Lady, and it fit with the things that I was being taught about what it meant to be a Black woman. And so it just kind of it just kind of grew from there. And I noticed that as I moved throughout my career, especially when I went to New York, it was interesting how other people took to the name. It was kind of like, oh, it was either what church are you from? Or,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, no, they lock the church doors when they see me coming. They're like, oh, absolutely not. But they wanted me to change my name. And this is when I was in New York. And I said point blank, I will go back home. You keep this New York, I will go back home. I am not going to change my name. I worked too hard for it. And the GM, she respected that. And she didn't try to force me to change my name. However, Lee Michaels did make me, when I went over to BLS, he did make me add on to, because I was at Hot 97 and Kiss FM as First Lady. So when I went over to BLS, he made me add on to it. So it became First Lady Chris Ray, which was actually the person I was named after. Her name was Kristen Ray. So it's a lot of dips and turns and stuff like that.
Well, you know, everybody, the one thing I can say, most of us in radio that are on air don't use our real names.
Yeah, no, we don't.
No,
We don't.
no. Yeah, and I know you're saying, Bonnie? No, that is not my
Bonnie's not your real name, right?
that's not my government name, but everybody know me by Bonnie, so that's okay. Chat Daddy, that ain't his government name.
No, no.
Now,
Mine.
Drushan,
It's a good. No. You
That's
can't
his
get no
government name.
government in that. No, you
Yeah,
can't.
we were about to tell him he can't not to use government names, but it's too late now.
It, two name. Well, it's two names as a first, so you can't get no government and no original than that. So
Yeah,
that
that's
is
true. That's
that is
true.
so true. Chad, do you remember when you first met First?
Oh yes, it was in a dark, dimly lit club. No, I first met.
word.
I don't know. I really
You know what?
first.
I
Where
remember
was it?
we were at
Where?
we were at the CBJ meeting. It was the Chicago Black
Association. Yes.
something or other meeting, and it was at NBC. And
Oh,
Oh
you were
wow.
hosting it. Yeah, you were hosting that meeting. And I kept saying, Art Chat Daddy. I've heard that before. Because at first I thought it was Cat Daddy. And Mary Datcher corrected me very quickly. No, it's Chat Daddy. There's a CHA. I said, oh, Chat Daddy. Not Cat. She said, do not call that man Cat Daddy. There will be an issue. So I knew right then and there, his name is Art Chat Daddy Sims. And that's when, and his personality was just so, it was so present in the moment. And when I was talking to him, he was engaged in listening to what I was saying. And I was just like, oh, I just love this guy because he's actually paying attention. You know, when you're young in the business, most people, they're not trying to hear what you're saying. But he actually listened, and I appreciated that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Again, I just knew she was my first baby's mama. I didn't, right. So thank you, Chris, First Lady. I appreciate that. That's beautiful.
you know I'm jealous, don't you, Chad?
Why?
Because she your first baby's mama. I mean,
Oh
you know.
Lord,
Oh,
Ding
but
ding ding
Bonnie,
ding 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 ding. Who's the corner?
who do I talk to every day now?
Yeah,
Bonnie,
that's true.
who do I talk to every day
yeah.
now?
That's
See,
true.
Bonnie,
Right.
you're the wife. You're the wife.
Okay.
So, I'm just over here just trying to take care of this senior citizen kid. You're the wife. You're the important one. Yeah.
I'll take it.
See how I
I'll
worked
take it.
that out? That's a management skill.
Right.
Now,
Yes, it is.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got that right. Now,
Mhm.
Chris, our first lady, you have gone from being a DJ to a program director, music director, and now a digital station owner. How has that, your whole transition of your career gone to get you to this point?
I honestly, I don't know. I just woke up and here I am at this point. And I just trusted the process, even though I didn't know where I was going. You know how you get in the car with somebody and you say, where are we going? And they say, I don't know, just come on, let's just ride. And so I felt like God said, come on, just get in the car and ride. And I said, okay. And there was no destination. I never had a goal to go to New York. I never had a goal to be a program director. In fact, I didn't want to be a program director. Somebody else told me, Elroy Smith told me, you should consider being a program director. Oh, wait, I had no aspirations into going into radio until one day in acting class at Columbia College, my acting teacher, Bonnie DeShong, said, you should think about going into radio. So it has just been a continuous process of just getting in the car and riding and looking out the window and going, hey, I like that. Let me get out right here and let me work on this. And that's and it's just worked out. I wish I could say that I planned it that way, but I didn't. I believe that everything was already planned out for me, and every part of my life connects back to what I'm doing now. And I put, how you post on Facebook for your birthday. One of the first things I said was that this past year there were a lot of lessons that I had to learn in order to prepare me for the journey that I'm about to go on now, this chapter in my life. Had I not had those experiences, good, bad, and different, I would not be prepared for where I'm going now. And so again, it was not a place that I was focused on going. It was something that just happened, and it happened organically, and I just went with it.
Now, there's so many people, and you guys can jump in at any given time. You know that. There's so many people that are just getting turned on to digital radio, downloading an app, listening to digital radio, and everybody, y'all make sure the ones that are listening already know
No, right?
that you've downloaded the
Right,
app.
right.
But in comparison to starting off with a digital radio station versus one that you hit in the car, is that I don't want to say hindrance, but how do you get people to turn on that way?
You know what? My first engagement with digital radio was it was maybe 7 years ago, overseas in London, with a station called SG1 Radio. And the guy over there, his name is Raymond Medweather, and I give him full credit because he was the first one to really introduce me to the back end of digital, how it worked, all the different software that's involved, the streaming that's involved. And I started helping him program one of his channels, his SG1 Soul channel. And so I didn't have a choice. I had to learn the back end in order to put the music in order to know how to do things. The first thing I did after that, in keeping it in the family, was I reached out to Drew and I said, can you do the imaging? And Drew was like, what? Yes, I want your voice to be an international voice globally in a whole nother country, on a whole nother continent, to represent soul music. And so that's exactly what he did. And so from that, when we went to London and we got in the car, Hugo and I, and the app, which was on my phone, was in his radio dash, I was like, how did you do that? If you have already access for like Sirius XM or other stations like that, or you have that digital screen, there's an app, there's Google Play, there's Apple Play, Apple CarPlay, I think it's called. There's another one called Uconnect, depending on the brand of car that you have, where you can connect your phone, the apps in your phone, to your digital screen, and you can access everything, all the apps that are on your phone right there on your screen. So Jam 98 pops up, the different pictures pop in with the artist, just like on your app. And they already had that technology in the UK. We didn't have it here yet. They already had it. So I got to see that type of stuff, and it sparked my interest. So when the opportunity came up with Club Steppin', with Lamont, and he asked me if I would come over and program, I was like, well, I'm still on terrestrial, But in my head, again, not something I planned for, that opportunity came to me. I thought to myself, I already know this. I had to have had that experience. And then this opportunity comes for a reason. So that's when I made that switch. Most people would have said I was crazy to walk away from V103, but I don't think so. Because for me, at this point, it is about making money, but it's not about the paycheck. If you're still in radio about the paycheck, you need to just quit, because that's not what this is about. That's not what digital radio is about. It's about really getting the work done. So this opportunity coming up now to do Jam 98 was really something that that I really thought a lot about. I thought a lot about it. I talked with Hugo about it. We formulated in our minds what it should sound like, how it should flow, who the audience is, what's missing, not just in the local Chicago marketplace, but what's missing in music and in radio globally. And it's the same thing all the way around the world. If you travel outside of your neighborhood, you'll find out that we are alike. We live our lives alike. We want the same things. Our lifestyles might be slightly different, but we want the same things. We want the variety. We want new music. We want old music, but we don't want to feel like it's old music. We want to be in the car with our whole family and not have to change the radio station. So as we start to think about that, and he's a music master, so it was not a question about how the music was going to get done, but the programming of it. And make no mistake about it, being a husband and wife working together, we got some arguments. Boy, we got some arguments. But it's never husband and wife argument. It's music director, program director having a conversation. No, that's not yes, no, yes. So, and then at the end of that is, hey, what do you want for dinner? You got to know the roles. We didn't get to 27 years just, not doing it right. So we've figured it out. But the digital aspect of it, we're getting ready to become a music channel that will stream as well on Roku with another company that I can't say that company's name right now because she's not ready to go public just yet, but it will be on Roku, which, it's a music. Again, this was not something I planned for. I never thought about it. And a chance meeting that I had with a young lady in December of 2019 circled back around to her saying to me, I'm starting a network. I would like for your station to be the music channel. What? Are you kidding me? Yes. So the blessings, when you get out of your own way and you remove negativity, or as I call it, negativity, out of your life. That's the word. Oh, I'm sorry if that can't be said. Oh, wait, it can say
No,
that.
it can. We're digital. We can say anything.
I can say that.
And it's your station. It's your station.
Your station. You can say what you want to say.
This your station. If you want to cuss, go on cuss.
But I'm just saying, when you remove that element from your space, things start to move in the universe like you've never known before. And like I said, a lot of lessons that I had to learn, not just about myself, but about how I interact with other people. And if you are in management, you have to know how to coach. And sometimes I can see places where I should have coached differently. I can see places where I did just what I was supposed to do, but the player just didn't want to play, and there's nothing you could do about that. So those are all things that I learned. And of course, with Drew, I learned a lot about patience.
Wait, hold on. Drew and patience in the same. Wait.
No, I learned a lot about patience.
Oh, okay.
Because of Drew, I learned a lot about how much of a therapist I was in just calming him down, because he's a human being, and with all the work that gets thrown at him from all different directions, it can be a lot. And so he would, as his big sister, he would call and vent, and I would have to, Drew, woosah, woosah. But on the flip side, there were times when he would call and he would try to vent, and I'd be busy venting, and he'd be like, "Whoa, I was okay. This is
True,
about
true
you
story.
now."
Drew, go ahead, jump in, jump
So,
in.
True story. There have been many times where first will always will call me and she would let out a spiel, and then I will have to be Dr. Joyce Brothers in the situation
right,
to calm her down
right,
because. But she's definitely right about the component of patience because in management, when it comes to dealing with a crew or when it comes to ownership, there's a level of patience that you really have to tap into
right,
that you never knew existed.
right,
Because you have to take yourself out of the equation and you have to say to yourself, oh, it's not just me dealing with this. I have a crew of people with their own personalities, their own demeanors, and their own different approach to one common goal, one bottom line. And
right,
what I've gained learning from first is that I'm not the only person that she has to be patient with. And I have to learn patience from her and figure out another way to get things done efficiently. So
right.
that's one of the many blessings that I got from her.
Well, the
And
one thing,
we all learn from Bonnie, who we call her Auntie Bonnie, because if Auntie Bonnie has to go sideways on you, you have really messed up. Art, am I right or am I wrong?
Are absolutely right about that. That's the one thing I love about Bonnie. And yep, you dead on about Bonnie. Yes.
If
Yeah,
Bonnie
see,
is not checking you, you are doing something completely wrong.
yeah, man, if she's got to come for you, it has not been a good day. And she does it in a way where you go, oh, I don't want to disappoint Bonnie. And I don't even think she realizes that she has that master Yoda type of thing going on. You know?
If you remember the scene from Purple Rain where Morris Day and Jerome walking down the street and the woman jumped out talking about Morris Day and that facial expression, that's me when Bonnie calls me when I'm in trouble. I just was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah,
well, the
yeah,
one thing I have to jump in and say for all three of you, Chat Daddy, First Lady, DeShong, I am learning so much from you, and I appreciate the patience that you give. I mean, when we first started, doing digital, and I'm looking like, well, where's the studio? What do I do? I got to do it from home. How do I Drew? How do we do this? And the one thing, and Art, we're going to do StreamYard. How are we going to do this? One day we're going to get these up where you can see us actually doing these live, but it's all what I love about the four of us that are here is that we're all different generations, but we're
right.
all working together and learning from one another. Digital radio is the future, just like electric
Yes,
cars. In 2035, there will not be any more gas cars. There will not be any more terrestrial radio. So it's the whole idea that somebody all over the world can hear us through their smartphones or whatever. I mean, it just blows my mind. But guys, we can sit here and talk all day. The one thing we all four have to talk about is this weekend. Today,
yes,
we will be at the African Fest
yes.
from 3 to about 6:30. We'll be out there. Chat Daddy is going to be there doing his show, as well as doing our show. So
Multitasking.
this is multitasking. This is going to be really interesting that we're doing both of our shows at the same time. His will be live. Art, how will yours be done? Yours will be done live on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes, on all of the streaming platforms. I'm on 6 different streaming platforms, so we'll be doing it live. We'll do snippets. I'll probably have people out roaming, talking to people from their cell phones. So we'll, gonna make it exciting. But yes, this today, later on today, matter of
Later
fact.
on today, as a matter
Yes,
of fact. And
yes.
we're going to be doing it right here on Jam 98. So if you're out at African Fest around 3:30 or so, come on and find us so you can see all four of us. And then tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, we're going to be where first?
Will be Sunday on State. It's the last one for the season, and we'll be right in front of Macy's, aka Marshall
Marshall
Fields.
Fields.
I don't care what Macy's does, it will
Thank
be
you.
Marshall Fields. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take the clock down, change the building on the outside, then you can be Macy's. Until then, nope. No, but yeah, so 111 North State is where we'll be with our friends from Soul Train Impact and Casting Peach LLC. And the great thing about this is we're going to do a Soul Train line. Soul Train line's never been done on State Street, and it's about time that State Street gets some Soul Train in its life. So our conductor for the Soul Train line musically, of course, will be Hugo H. And he's got some surprises cooked up musically. And I would really like to see parents and their children or grandparents. And yeah, I'd like to see families going down the Soul Train line, because music and food are the two things that unite everyone. Music and food. Oh, and laughter. Those are the things that really, unite us to love on each other. So no matter what country you're in, we'll have some of the video up. And yeah, and we did do a Soul Train line years ago in the alley between the Chicago Theater and the Gene Siskel Theater, but it was interesting because it was a wedding party.
Oh, Lord.
And they did the Soul Train line, but it was whatever, but I was just glad to be a part of it. So we're looking forward to that. It kicks off at 11 o'clock tomorrow and goes 11 o'clock tomorrow and goes until 6.
Great. Now, I know we can go over time because I got the boss here. But before we let you go, First Lady, and before we go in, Chat Daddy's Choice is going to lead us out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that 2022 Black Women in Radio Foundation, in partnership with the Library of Congress, RPTF, selected First Lady as one of the distinguished inaugural 30 Black women in radio to be inducted into the United States Library of Congress Radio Preservation Task Force.
Thank you.
When I read that first, I just jumped up and down and hollered. So I am so proud of you. I want you to know that. And I want everybody, we'll see you at African Fest this afternoon. We'll see you on State Street, right in front of Marshall Fields.
Yes.
Okay, AKA Macy's. Tomorrow afternoon, starting at 11 o'clock. And Chat Daddy, where can folks find you?
The Real Chat Daddy Show. We're on hiatus until September 13th. TheRealChatDaddy.com for more information.
And we want everybody to go to mixcloud.com/Bonnie's Eye. All of our shows are there. Make sure that you download you've already done that. We don't have to do that part. But
make sure you share.
Yeah. Share. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff. Make sure it's Jam 98 Music for Your Soul. So, Chat Daddy, what are you going to send us out on?
Have You Seen Her by the legendary Shy-Lights.
Uncle Marshall.
Marshall. We'll be there tomorrow night at the Country Club Hills with the Shy-Lights, Marshall Thompson and the Shy-Lights. So, until next time, I want you to keep your eye to the sky and your ear to Jam 98, Music for Your Soul.